All right, guys, here we go. Week 5. So we're almost at the end of the cycle. Starting Monday off, as usual, with our pull ups. We're going to break that down to an EMOM 6 now from an EMOM 7. And we're trying to get a little bit more reps done within those 6 minutes. So 5 to 10 is the recommended for today. So if you can keep the same progression as last week, that would be perfect. And then again, we're just trying to get more work done in a shorter amount of time. Then going into the workout, there's going to be a little bit of a longer one compared to our Mondays. We got a 20-minute AMRAP. This one's meant to be done at like a nice consistent pace to work on endurance. So pacing is going to be key in this one. We're doing a 200-meter row, then 10 kettlebell swings and 10 box jumps. These movements are meant to be more cardio based than they are strength based. So you should be able to do all of these unbroken and get into a pace that you can hold consistently. So in 20 minutes, I would look at about kind of keeping a 2 to 3 minute pace. So adjust those progressions to allow you to do that. Or if you're a little bit longer than that, let's say maybe you're at that 4 minute pace and you get 5 rounds in, that's okay too as well. But if we're only getting like 1 or 2 rounds done in the 20 minutes, it's probably too challenging. So let's make sure we aim for a minimum of 5. I would say the average for this would be somewhere around 6 to 8 rounds for these 20 minutes there. But a good one, again, to get that Monday started off, just working on good cardio there. These movements are meant to be more of a cardio, kind of like you're not getting fatigued or feeling muscle fatigue. It's more of that endurance or like the cardiovascular fatigue that's slowing you down. So we want to find a good pace early into the workout and then try to hold that for the 20 minutes. I always treat the 20-minute workouts like two halves. So the first 10 minutes, just think of like you have to kind of get through the first 10 minutes. And when you get to that second half, you should already be sitting into your pace, and then you just need to survive through that last 10 minutes there. So first 10 minutes is kind of like dipping your toes into the water and getting a little feel for it. And then the last 10 minutes is where that workout really starts to count. So good one to get the week started off. And then going into Tuesday's back squat cycle. So we are at that 2 rep max today. So we are going heavier. Last week we did 4 rep max. So this week would be 2. That means we should see an increase in weight. Again, just like before, 5 to 6 sets to build up to that heavy set. So you guys have 20 minutes and want to give yourself a little bit longer of a rest between those heavier attempts. So 2 rep max is the goal today. If you guys are more, again, newer to the program, focus on the technique, the quality of the movement, than trying to kind of get a 2 rep max. There's a lot of skill involved in this as well. So just to prevent injuries and to make sure you're progressing properly, take today as a day to just get lots of good reps in and get comfortable with it. Again, if you have been back squatting, you feel comfortable, good positioning, good technique, and then that's the time to kind of start to bump it up and challenge yourself. To finish off the day, we're doing a 10-minute time workout. It's going to start with 200-meter dumbbell farmer's carry. So per hand, we're going to go around the gym 2 times, come back, and then we're going to go into 30 strict handstand push-ups and 30 hand release push-ups. So similar muscle groups are being challenged in this one. The harder one's starting first, and then we're going to finish off with kind of an easier pushing progression. The idea in this workout, and obviously finishing with that 200-meter dumbbell farmer's carry to finish off, we're challenging overhead pressing or just the pressing muscles in general. So our triceps or delts, we are using some of the lats and the muscles on the back too as well. Our chest is being activated when we're doing this. The back-to-back pressing is going to get real fatiguing, and you'll get pretty humbled once you get to the hand release push-ups after doing the strict handstand push-ups. So expect to break it up early, though we only have 10 minutes. So goal is, let's see if we can get past those hand release push-ups and get into the dual dumbbell farmer's carry. If you're stuck in that first kind of strict handstand push-ups, obviously we don't want that to happen. So make sure we're choosing progressions today where we can get those 30 done in about 4 to 6 sets, and it feels challenging to do that. But overall, today is going to be an upper body day. Good little challenge for that with the grip and with the pressing as well. So that being said, going into the next day, we're going to hit more cardio. So this is less about the muscle endurance or the muscle stamina and more about the cardiovascular portion of it. So we got a 3 round workout, but we have 2 intervals in between. So this is how it works. So we're going to start with a 3-minute AMRAP, 4 burpees, 6 hang power snatches, and 8 wall balls. So 3 minutes, you're trying to get as many rounds done as possible. Then we have 3 minutes off. And then we're going to go 3 minutes on AMRAP of the assault bike. So as many calories as we can, and then 3 minutes off. So once we're done that, that's one round. We're going to do that 3 times. Goal is to get that effort and the rep ranges to be very similar from round 1 up till round 3. If you're really good with your pacing, you can try to see if you can get more reps near the end of the round compared to the beginning of the round. So that would be a little bit of skill involved with that to be able to do it. But the idea is that aerobic stimulus today. So we want to make sure that we are choosing progressions that allow us to move unbroken, and we're getting more of a cardio stimulus, and we're like held back by that than we are strength stimulus or muscle fatigue. So choose your weights appropriately. That will allow you to keep moving through this consistently. A longer workout, but again, we get some rest built in there as well. Going into Thursdays, we're going to be going into more of a gymnastic start. So we're going to go 3 minutes of lever negative. So these are really good progressions to work up to a toes to bar, or just build really good midline or core strength. So if that's kind of your focus, this is an awesome skill and strength I'd argue that you should be working on. And it doesn't really require like using weights. It's just all your body weight. It's really cool because we get to kind of we get to put ourselves in kind of like a toes to bar position and then try to kind of lower ourselves down, all while kind of on the ground. So really cool movements. It is pretty challenging. So when you do come down, or you're trying to come down really slowly, it's going to be hard to control it, and just expect that right off the bat. If you need to kind of bend your knees and just make it a little bit easier, you guys can definitely do that. So with that said, the workout, we got a little bit of a mix of some isometrics, and we have some conditioning in there. This is done in any order that you like, and it's a for time workout. So accumulate in any order or any rep scheme, 350 double unders, and then 2.5 minutes of handstand hold with 100 sit-ups. You could do that in rounds. You could do them as written. It's really up to you. You have 20 minutes to get through that and get that completed. So really good workout to kind of work on gymnastics and some midline strength there. We are doing some isometric holds, being the handstand hold. So we're going to really strengthen our muscles, the tendons, because we're holding in a static position there, which is a really good way to start to build strength and positioning. So we got a little bit of everything in this workout today. So should be a fun one. Going into Friday, back to our Olympic lifts and working on our jumps. So we're going to prime that nervous system up with landing, so jumping down off of a box and trying to land as steadily as possible. So when we land from the box, we're being as still as we can and as quiet as possible, so we can absorb that blow through our body and efficiently make it travel through instead of like landing hard. We are going to see a lot of in power cleans or Olympic lifts that we want to move down quickly. So that takes that skill of like, how do you absorb that blow? How do you get your body tight enough to actually do that? So we're doing that with body weight first before we even start putting our hands on a barbell. So with that workout, after that, we're going to go into power cleans. And today's kind of, we're doing just 1 rep. You can kind of challenge yourself a little bit more with this one. We're doing every 90 seconds for 6 rounds, 1 power clean. And it should be at a moderate to kind of heavy weight for yourself. So adjust that and look at kind of the previous weeks to kind of gauge where you're at. If you're not sure, again, use it as a skill, technique, time to kind of work on those things than to go really heavy, because these are very technical movements and a lot can go wrong. So it's better to kind of get really confident with your skills and your technique before you start introducing more intensity. Finally, our workout for this day, AMRAP 15, buy-in 800-meter run. We're going to get out there for a quick run out to the light, so kind of Weber and Parkside, and then we're going to run back. And then we're going to do as many rounds of 10 ring dips and 20 walking lunges as possible in whatever time is remaining after you come back from your run, up to that 15-minute mark. So really good body weight conditioning workout. You don't really need much equipment for this one. It's a fun one. So we did ring dips last week, so you kind of look at what you did with that progression and then base it off that. And then walking lunges, just straightforward. You can just use a turf or whatever you want to do, but we're going to try to travel with our lunges there. So a good one to work on body weight conditioning and a little bit of strength, obviously, with that ring dip. Saturday's workout, we are at our 1 rep max strict press today, so we get to challenge that. Just like Tuesdays, we're going to take 5 to 6 sets to build up to it, and then 3 to 5 minutes between those heavier attempts with a 15-minute cap, with the ideal goal of working on upper body strength, really seeing like what is our absolute max of doing a 1 rep max strict press. You are going to start to see where that rib cage starts to flare, so really emphasize keeping the rib cage nice and tight and down so you don't start arching the back and treating it like a standing bench press. So that's your starting point for today. And then our workout, heavy Fran. So if you've ever done Fran before, it's going to be the same thing, but it's going to be a little bit of a heavier, so harder progressions for the workout. So 21, 15, 9 thrusters and chest to bar pull-ups. The goal of today is more about that strength kind of capacity. So how well can we keep going at heavier weights? You're going to feel like more heavier breathing happening because it's not that it's about like the cardiovascular portion. It's just that every rep kind of takes more out of your nervous system. So it's different kind of tired. So 21, 15, 9, you're going to probably break this up into 3 to 5 sets because it's going to be heavier and the progressions are more challenging. For those of you who are newer to it, this could be a day to just keep it strict and challenge yourself with the pull-ups by going like strict pull-ups or working on just negatives. And then for the thrusters, same idea, just finding a progression that's heavy, but you keeping good form and technique while you're doing it to get those sets done in about 3 to 5 sets. So good day to kind of work on the strength and the strength endurance as well. Going into the last day of the week, we got our strength work to start off. This is a choose your own adventure, deadlift, front squat, weighted lunge. Up to you. Choose one. Come up with a little bit of a plan of what to do. If you're not sure, just talk to your coach. But goal is to work on that strength and the skill of those movements. You can treat today as more of skill and technique, or you can treat today more of like working on strength if you've missed a day throughout the week, or if this is kind of one of your goals to work on. So that's the first half. And then our workout's a partner workout. It's a quick one, 15 minutes with a buddy. We're going to be doing 50 feet synchro burpee broad jumps. So you're going to cover 50 feet with doing that. Then 50 feet farmer's carry, and then 50 feet of synchronized walking lunges. Every 5 feet is going to equal 1 rep. So in 15 minutes with your partner, everything is synchronized. You can work together and coordinate it to get those reps in, and in 15 minutes get as much work done as possible. So your grip and your lower body strength is going to be really challenged today with that endurance alongside that. Hope you guys have fun with this week, and we'll see you next week into that test week.